Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Amir Luqman Hakim. I'm from B class. In this video, I'm gonna talk about the analysis of a short story. The short story has title The Gift of the Magi, created by Oliver Henry. This time, for the first, I'm gonna talk about plot analysis. In this story, the exposition part begins with the problem that Della doesn't have enough money to buy Christmas gift. The Christmas gift, it is about the gift that will give to her husband Jim. And Della has only $1.87. That is not enough to buy the gift. And this part tells us about the main character, Della and Jim. Della and Jim are the poor couple that live in small flat, and they only has very minimum salary for their works. And I think this is the very important thing, poorness or poverty of Della and Jim will bring the true love in between Della and Jim, between both of them. And in this part, we got Della's hair and Jim's gold watch. Della's hair and Jim's gold watch are the only prize assets, are the only prize things that they have. So I think this is the clue of this story. This is the thing that will make the story, because Della will sell her hair and to buy gold watch for Jim. Okay. For the next, the conflict of this story begins when Della gets the present for Jim, but she must sell her hair. I think this is very tricky because in the first we got Della has the problem. She doesn't have enough money to buy Christmas gift, but I think this is not the main problem, because Della, the problem in this part that Della doesn't have enough money has already solved with with Della that get the present for Jim, but she must sell her hair. Then the main conflict here, when Della is very anxious because because she think that will Jim appreciate the gift, or will Jim will be angry for Delia's hair that has been cut off, so Delia will not be beautiful again. So I think this is the main conflict. Yeah. Okay, and the next, I'm gonna talk about racing actions. In racing action, this story tells us about Jim was quietly shocked because Delia's hair has been cut off. He is not angry with Delia's hair has been cut off, but she only quietly shocked. Because why? Because I think Jim also very anxious about how Delia react his present to Delia. You know what I mean, right? So this racing action also tells Jim very anxious because of how Delia will react to his present for her. I think when Delia's hair has been cut off, it's very funny when I think that very funny because Jim will give the combs, the combs that Delia very want to buy, but Delia doesn't has enough hair to come. So I think this is the racing action of this story. And the climax of this story is when Delia opens the present that given by Jim, and Delia is confused. I think Delia is confused because she never knows how Jim get the money to buy this present. The present is very expensive. And Jim is very poor. He don't has enough salary to buy the combs that Delia wants to buy. So I think the climax about in this story is about this one. This when Delia opens the present, Jim anxious and Delia is also confused how Jim get the money to buy this present. So the answer will be answered in following action. In following action, finally, Jim reveals that he buys the combs by selling the gold watch from Delia. So yeah, I think in this story, we know that both of them try to sacrifice the best thing that they have and try to give the special thing to his or her beloved human, beloved wife, and beloved husband. Finally, we got the Noman. The Noman in this story, when they don't mind about the presents that is very expensive, I think, very special. But the more special thing, give the information about the characterization of this story. In this story, we got major character, Della and Jim. Della and Jim is flat dynamic character. Why? Okay, I will try to break down one by one. Della, she is mistress of the home. Even though Della is poor and the salary is very minimum, she is very devoted to her husband because she struggled to saving her money to give special gift to her beloved husband. So flat here means that Della very devoted, very struggle, and she always loved Jim. She always loved her husband. And also Jim is Della's husband, that also is flat dynamic character because Jim always loved Della and tried to sacrifice the best thing, gold watch, that given by Della, to give special thing, which is the comes that Della want to buy. So they are flat character. They love each other in this story until the end. And dynamic character, why I state dynamic character, because I think when Della and Jim anxious about the react of the prison, it will change to the very happy feeling because Della and Jim try to don't mind the expensive gift, the expensive gifts, and try to receive each other, try to don't mind it, and think that the best thing is love itself. And also minor character in this story is Madame Sovrani. Madame Sovrani is the owner of the hair shop. Madame Sovrani who buys Della's hair, but Madame Sovrani is very chilly because she just tried to think that it's about business, not about feeling, not about love. Right. And now I'm gonna explain the setting. This story happens in Christmas Eve. we got Della and Jim try to buy the gift because the time sufficiently near to Christmas Day. And this story takes place at the small flat where Della and Jim live. This story takes place at the hair shop when Della try to sell her hair and get the money for buying the gift. And in this story, the atmosphere is full of anxieties because both of them very anxious of the react when they open the gift. But the atmosphere of this story also very warm and full of love. I think if without any expensive thing, they will always love in very, very true love, not about the materialism intention, but genuinely love. Okay, next, literature element. I got one thing, the metaphor in this story, the sacrifice of Jim and Della to give the special thing to each other are same with the action that have done by the Magi. The Magi gives a very expensive, very special thing to Jesus. So I think both of them have the same context.
In my opinion, I really agree with the writer that this story is related with the reality that if we are poor, we will become more sincere. We will get true love without any materialism intention. And now, I will give you additional information for theme. The theme here is about true love. It's not about materialism intention, but true love is about the sacrifice. Why I give this statement? Because I think this story very much give us very important thing to learn, that love as they do, Jim and Della, they do more sacrifice no matter how poor they are. Alright, last but not least, POV or point of view. In this story, we got third person omniscient point of view because we know that the narrator act like God. The narrator knows everything in the story, everything in the character, in the inner of the character. The narrator know all of them, but in the beginning and in the beginning of the story, until the husband comes to show the present to Della, the narrator only focus on the struggle of Della to get the present, but the narrator don't focus on the husband. But after raising action until the end of the story, the narrator focus on both of them to finish the story until the end. Thank you very much to watch this video, and I hope this video will give good benefit for us. And I'm so sorry if I have really many mistakes. Till next time, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.